So as a whole, customers are looking to really leverage cloud for a lot of great innovations. First and foremost, we saw that hybrid applications were starting to become more and more important. Leveraging both SaaS, infrastructure as a service, and on-premises as well, and being able to actually correlate all of the data together to be able to provide an even better experience to customers. We've seen this with Pure One, where we originally took all of the telemetry data that comes from each one of our arrays. We send it through a data pipeline, which we originally created in AWS. We took the data from our SaaS-based offering, Salesforce, and aligned it to the inventory of our customers so we could represent a view of their entire assets. Longer term, we decided to run predictive analytics to predict issues before they occurred within our support infrastructure. And so we pulled some of the hotter data back to an on-premises solution that was connected via Direct Connect back to Amazon. This allowed us to have really a true hybrid application being deployed, where on-premises plus infrastructure as a service within AWS, plus the data within Salesforce as a SaaS-based offering. We see customers wanting to be able to utilize these types of solutions, but there's a huge cloud divide that exists. There's a different consumption model, different types of data services, and very, very different APIs across the two stacks. And so we realized that we needed to give customers the ability to have the same data tier with rich services, same APIs that they've come to love with on premises, and enable them to have this kind of common management across both on premises and the public cloud. And by doing so, we could allow them to be able to deploy these types of applications and be able to become hybrid in nature between on-prem and the cloud. And some of the values that we saw with this is that you could leverage some of the data services that we have today, such as dedupe, compression, thin provisioning, as well as some of the resiliency that we have within the core stack. We optimized Purity that today runs on our optimized hardware and put it in AWS to start with. And that will enable you to be able to leverage a lot of the core facilities that we've already built into Purity. Stuff like our snapshot technology, which allows you to be able to create quick instances of any of your data sets. Our active clustering capabilities, which allow for you to be able to take two cloud block stores on either side, which is the Purity and AWS, and actually be able to synchronously replicate them so you don't have to re-architect your applications. The second big win for customers was changing the backup phenomenon altogether. Most customers do kind of a disk to tape architecture, where they're running on a disk-based architecture for their primary storage. They send it to a deduplicated disk-based solution, and then they send it off to tape. The challenge there is that the tapes are stuck into a vault for a long period of time, and unfortunately, they don't get much value out of it. And the restorations are the biggest problem, where they can't actually restore data in the SLAs that they need back to the business. And so what we've decided is we wanted to help them be able to get better restoration times, but also be able to leverage cloud economics by tiering data off to the cloud longer term. And so one of the big announcements that we had out there was the ability to take StoreReduce, one of our recent acquisitions, and put it on top of FlashBlade as a flash cache that sits on premises, which would allow you for super fast restores. And we saw great values that customers saw with our fast restore feature sets within the platform. This would allow you to keep 45 days, maybe 90 days, whatever you restore from most often, and keep that in a flash cache for almost instant restore. Longer term, you could tier that data off into the cloud and get great cloud economics, and be able to also leverage it in the cloud to be able to spin up platform as a service type offerings in AWS. This solution just as a whole alleviates a lot of the fundamental challenges that the enterprise has today and makes it so they can deliver upon the SLAs that the business has built.